In December 2023, a dance clip of an employee of a chain restaurant, Haidilao Hot Pot, caused a lot of controversy on the Chinese web. The woman was seen wearing a uniform, dancing for the restaurant patrons. With little expression and no interaction with her customers, her movements seem stiff and forced. This kind of street dance is said to have originated in Guangxi province in southwest China. It later became the signature of the known restaurant chain. Chinese netizens commented when they saw the employee dancing that they didn't find it cheerful, but rather inexplicably heartbreaking. It seems to be a reflection of the restaurant industry in China today. Restaurant owners are racking their brains to attract customers. In the restaurant business, employees are burdened with the high pressure of daily existence. Even the happiest melody can't cover up their exhaustion and helplessness. In 2023, China's restaurants are lucky to survive. Friends, who knows what's going on? Are restaurants vanishing? Thai hot pot is closed. The dessert place is closed. The Japanese buffet is closed. The dumpling joint is closed. The barbecue restaurant is closed. Look, it's closed. Another one is closed. It's closed. Is it too late for restaurant owners to cry? As the epidemic continued over the past 3 years, the extreme control by the CCP struck the catering industry hard. At the end of 2022, the lockdown was lifted, but all trades and industries haven't yet recovered. Judging from the business closures from 2021 to the first half of 2023, the catering industry suffered the hardest hit. According to China's official statistics, in the first half of 2023, 460,000 enterprises have closed, and 3.1 million personal businesses have been deregistered. Among them, about 373,000 restaurants across the country have closed down, including 80,000 milk tea businesses, 120,000 express snack businesses, and 12,000 in hot pot restaurants. In the second half of 2023, as China's economy continues to go downward, the number of restaurants that close for the whole year should be estimated to be more than 600,000 based on the above projections. China's official figures are usually somewhat embellished. According to the data from Enterprise Search Qichacha from January to October 2023, China's national restaurants added a total of 3.501 million. 374,000 more than the same period in 2022, when the epidemic was on. But at the same time, from January to October 2023, a cumulative 1.056 million restaurants closed in the country. Chinese media reported that many well-known restaurant chains were facing a crisis. For example, this famous hot pot restaurant has only 2 outlets operating in Shenzhen, China's first-tier city. The former beverage giant Pacific Coffee Company closed a number of stores in Guangzhou, sinking into a plight of store closures. The headquarters of Christine, the #1 bakery stock in China, owes 57 million yuan, or about US 8 million, in arrears, and its headquarters have become empty. The capital chain of a new bakery brand is broken, and all production has stopped. Xu Liushan, a dessert king for a generation of Chinese, closed all its stores in Shenzhen, with very few outlets left nationally. Why are so many restaurants closing down even though the epidemic restrictions were removed? The conversation between this Chinese businessman and his friends over a meal may shed some light on it. I think the level of consumption will now drop from month to month. Before the epidemic control was lifted, I still thought that after the restrictions were removed, China's economy would be consumer-driven, that is, an economy driven by the market. But today, it has completely become an economy driven by war preparations, and everything is to prepare for war. If it is battle-driven, it means that first of all, the process of urbanization will come to an end, and it will even go backward. Because in China, urbanization is already 70%. The economy in the south will shrink gradually, and heavy industry in the north will rise. If you go to Xi'an, you can see that its economy is probably the best in the entire country because it has heavy industry. Resources in all aspects are tilting towards the north. In Guangdong province, the economy is mainly driven by people's livelihood. It falls into the category of light industry, including many factories that have been converted into military industries. This includes the workshops of some companies that have already been converted into military facilities. So obviously, we sense that the domestic needs aren't going to cut it. Many Chinese, like this businessman, thought that China's economy would recover after the removal of the epidemic control at the end of 2022. Who would have thought that since 2023, China has been caught in a state of deflation, where domestic demand is sluggish and external demand is weak? Various enterprises have closed or laid off many employees, triggering a chain reaction. In 2019, there were 7,000 foreclosed homes in China for the entire year. Last year, in 2022, there were over 2 million. Behind every foreclosed home is a broken family. The Alibaba company may have to fire 60,000 people, or 30% of its employees. Hangzhou is the poster child for the future tech city. This time last year, the price of housing was RMB 80,000 per square meter, but now it has dropped to 30,000 per square meter. All the restaurants in the industrial park are closed. It feels like a ghost town now. At the beginning of June this year, 2023, Alibaba laid off 16,000 employees at one time. Starting this month, it is expected that 30% of the staff will be laid off. The layoffs come in waves. This wave of layoffs is dominated by those earning US $70,000 to $140,000 a year. Such a group of people have a mindset that in their lifetime, their income couldn't go down. So they bought a home, a car, so they had a mortgage and a car loan. Now, all of a sudden, they don't have a job, they don't have an income, and all those homes are going to be foreclosed. The rapid removal of the CCP's restrictive controls at the end of 2022 was expected to restart the assembly line of China's world factory. However, what people failed to expect is the dampening of China's foreign trade industry. It has led to the closure of many enterprises and factories, especially in the Pearl River and Yangtze River deltas, the two major manufacturing regions. A large number of enterprises, including large, medium, and small businesses, were unable to return to their business status before the epidemic. That is to say, the general global environment has changed. The planned economy with the CCP characteristics can't cope with the changing situation. Therefore, throughout the year 2023, China's economy has continued to decline without any sign of improvement. Unemployment is spreading from the bottom to the middle and upper middle classes. This businessman is very observant, and he uses the city of Dongguan in Guangdong province as an example. In the past, it was said that when there was a traffic jam in Dongguan, the supply chain of the world would break and the whole world would be jammed. Today, when you go to Dongguan and Shanda, are there any trucks running? There are no more trucks. Foreigners in Europe and the US have gotten used to it, and they don't have any problem operating without you, China, in the supply chain. Our country was called the World Factory. We were prepared for the world, just like my restaurant was prepared for Shenzhen. In the end, there was no more foreign demand, and instead, our own employees came to dine there, in which case the economy has hit a dead end. As a service industry, restaurants are an immediate reflection of economic recession. Businesses like milk tea, express snacks, and hot pot restaurants aren't part of a necessity. They grow fast only when the economy is strong. Now people's spending power is in decline. More and more Chinese feel that it's increasingly difficult to make money. They have no choice but to clench their pockets to reduce non-essential expenditures and choose to cook at home instead. Moreover, after the relaxation of the epidemic control in the first half of 2023, the fierce competition in the food and beverage businesses and the new business models with distinct features and strengths have also forced the old batch of outlets out of the market. In addition, China has a large number of unemployed people at present. One of the ways out for them is to operate mobile street booths. As they capture part of the market, retail stores and corporate catering operations are forced to close or relocate due to high rental costs. Just now, I have discussed with a good buddy of mine about opening a hot pot restaurant. We expect guests to spend 40 yuan or $5.60 per person. It's going to be at the lowest end of the scale. I think China's consumption level will regress to how it was in 2005 or 2006. At that time, the spending level of a guest was about 40 RMB. I can see the trend clearly. There was a construction site ahead, opposite Wangqiang town. Before the 2023 Chinese New Year at 5:30 p.m., tricycles arrived to sell boxed lunches. At that time, no boxed lunch was less than 10 yuan, but usually sold from 12 to 15 yuan. Around May 1st this year, 2023, boxed lunches were sold for 8 yuan. Last week, they were already selling boxed lunches for 5 yuan. For construction workers, the hourly wage was 22 yuan per hour last year in 2022. On May 1st, 2023, it was 16 yuan per hour, but now factories don't hire workers under the age of 35 anymore. Too many workers are looking for jobs. They only accept workers under 35 years old. The hourly wage is now 14 yuan, working 10 hours a day, 30 days a month, and earning 4,000 yuan or $640 a month. What is the environment like now? Very cold, so out comes the 5 yuan box lunch. 5 yuan or 70 US cents for a box lunch. What level of consumption is that? That's the level in 2006.
5块钱的盒饭，5块钱盒饭回到什么时候的消费水准？就是06年前。
China's F&B industry is similarly challenged by supply chain bottlenecks and rising costs. The supply of ingredients and raw materials has become more challenging on a global scale due to transportation and logistics constraints. At the same time, the rising price of raw materials have also led to a significant increase in costs for catering businesses. These factors have made it more difficult for the F&B industry to operate, and many are struggling to stay afloat.
那么北京过去这一年
This year, a restaurant chain in Beijing, which had rapidly expanded to 360 outlets, is already doing the most business selling boxed lunches for 4 yuan or US 56 cents. No other restaurant works, only theirs is okay. So, I'd like to have a nice chat with the guy who I know is the #1 in China for cost control in food and beverage. He's got the best understanding of costs among the people I know. So I want you to come early and we'll have a good chat. If we can't keep costs to a minimum, it's going to be really hard for us to survive. To keep the business going is more important than anything else.
就是活下来比什么都强。
A financial media in China released a set of industry research reports in July 2022, saying that there is an 18-month death cycle theory in the food and beverage industry. According to the research, more than half of China's new food and beverage operators have survived less than 18 months. But change is happening faster than predicted. Chinese media are now noticing that 18 months was too long a time for novice entrepreneurs who just set up their restaurants in the first half of 2023. Most of them have hit the skids before they even taste the sweetness of the peak season. The closure of the restaurant basically happens in about 3 months. Some lasted half a year and some even shorter. There had been cases of opening 9 days before closing or wanting to close on the 3rd day, etc. A man who recycles used catering equipment has been in business for 4 years and witnessed the struggling cycle in the catering industry. He told the media that in 2023 there would be more recycling of takeout joints, hot pot restaurants, and beverage parlors, including coffee shops. These are the hardest hit areas for novice operators. This proprietor invested 100,000 yuan, or about US 14,000, in a night market stall, and it failed miserably. It's all gone. It's all going under. The whole night market. Brothers, don't come to this night market. I'm telling you, this place has been cleared out. The water's been shut off. I don't know what's going on here. Damn, I put in 100,000 yuan, and it's all gone down the drain. It's over. On December 28, 2023, the story of a young man from Shanghai hit China's social media Weibo. A 25-year-old guy invested 800,000 yuan, or more than US 110,000, to open a mutton noodle shop. In just 6 days, he lost nearly US 100,000, and the noodle shop was facing closure. According to his story, he followed his parents to Shanghai to make a living. He started with a breakfast joint and then planned to start his own business. He thought that if there was a lot of foot traffic, there would be business, so he made the investment and opened a mutton noodle shop. However, the noodle shop lasted only 6 days. Due to the lack of customers, it couldn't break even to sustain its operation. The rent alone was US 13,000 per month, and no one is willing to take it over. Imagine how it's possible to make money with a rent of 13,000 a month. A rent of 422 for a single day means it needs a minimum of 100 customers to keep the business afloat. It proves to be too difficult under the current economy. While newcomers to the catering business have failed time and time again, veterans and celebrities in China's food and beverage industry are also facing troubles. On December 26, 2023, the website of China's Enforcement Information Public Network shows that Wang Xiaofei has new information added to his profile. That is, he is enforced by a court in Beijing with an enforcement amount of more than 7.48 million yuan, or US 1.05 million. On the same day Wang Xiaofei is enforced, hit the hot search on the Chinese web. Mr. Wang graduated from ESSEC Business School in France and the University of Guelph in Canada. After returning to China, he joined South Beauty Restaurant Group, a well-known restaurant chain founded by his mother, and officially took it over as CEO in 2011. The reason why Mr. Wang is well known in China is because of his ex-wife, a well-known Taiwanese entertainer. After 10 years of marriage, they announced their divorce in November 2021 and said to raise a pair of children together. At that time, the news dropped like a shock bomb in the entertainment industry on both sides of the Taiwan Strait. Our channel reported on it. Around his divorce, Mr. Wang started another Sichuan cuisine brand. It now has 18 physical restaurants offline in Beijing, Shanghai, and Chengdu, as well as a variety of food products online such as sauces, instant foods, snacks, hot pot bases, and pre-prepared dishes. The deterioration of Mr. Wang's financial situation emerged in April 2023. Information from Tianyang, a large data technology service company, showed that many of his stakes in his 3 companies, valued at 1.3 million, 490,000, and 28,000 respectively, had been frozen by a court in Beijing. The freezing period is from April 18, 2023 to April 17, 2026. The reason for the freezing is unknown for the time being. It can be said that before the arrival of the 2024 New Year's Day, Boss Wang will have to face all this, which is particularly sad. So what kind of catering business can survive? As the businessman suggested, low prices. How low does it need to be? On December 22, 2023, the #1 trending story on China's social media platforms was this one. Young people are flocking to the 2 yuan bakery. 2 yuan is less than US 30 cents. Chinese media reported that the trend started in Shandong province in June 2023 and has since spread rapidly across the country to other cities. And now even the capital, Beijing, has seen the emergence of 2 yuan bakeries. A university student surnamed Wang told the media that almost all of those who came to the shop were college students and people were lining up to buy. The report said that in October alone, the 2 yuan bakery expanded from Shandong province to other cities, including Beijing. A 2 yuan bakery owner told the media running a 2 yuan bakery was making hard money. When he first opened the store, he made 1,500 dough pieces a day by himself once. It exhausted him that by the evening he had no strength left to make a physical move. Although the Chinese media reported it as positive news, the public's eyes are discerning. They wrote, "What does it mean? Young people don't have money. It means everyone is broke. Do you think that's a good thing? I've given up lunch. I'm really broke. After I stopped having lunch, I realized that the most useless expense was lunch. 2 meals a day, just get used to it. I don't know who invented the rule of 3 meals a day." Will the next step be to demand a 1 yuan bun and xiaobing, and after that, will we collectively beg for food?